Thank you for the invitation and welcome everyone to Strategy Fest 2022. I'm Phil Orbanes, and for the past 40 years, I've been an executive and inventor in the game industry. During most of this time, I've researched, studied, and absorbed all there is to know about the Monopoly game and what the world's most famous game has in common with successful business strategy. I've written 4 books about Monopoly, including its connection to business and real life. In the next few minutes, I'll share with you my insights on how games can serve as the perfect model to develop business strategies. Oh, and at the end, as a bonus, I will reveal the 5 best tips to improve your odds of winning on Monopoly night. So why use games like Monopoly as models for business strategy? Well, here's a quote to help see the merits. Philosopher Aldous Huxley once said, "With their simple and unequivocal rules, games are like so many islands of order in the vague, untidy chaos of existence. In games, one passes from the incomprehensible universe of reality into a neat little man-made world where everything is clear, purposeful, and easy to understand." I've always believed that the structure, goals, and pleasure of game playing provide a perfect platform to devise strategy. So what are the attributes of a well-designed game? Well, first, it has a clear structure. Second, it has a defined goal, that is its conditions of victory. And third, it's fun. It's not boring and it's not trivial. To turn business strategy into a game, think structure plus goals plus fun. If you remember anything that I say today, these 3 words are it. Structure, goals, fun. So what is the object of your plan or project? How will its success be measured? And how will those assigned to it be rewarded or penalized? You need to know where you want to go so you don't wander off target. You need to determine the conditions of victory, and that is what must be achieved in order for the plan to be considered a success. And of course, how will you reward or penalize those assigned to make it happen? Now let's talk about 11 specific principles. Here I am relying on the business advice of game entrepreneur George Parker, whose game company reigned supreme for 100 years. Young Parker didn't have time for college. He started his business as a teenager, but he was a shrewd observer of business dynamics, and in time, he equated the following 11 winning principles of gameplay with success in business. Here's the first 3. Number 1, know your goal and reach for it. Number 2, devise winning moves. 3, play by the rules but capitalize on them. Here's the next 3. Point 4, learn from failure, build on success. Now, most business folks that I've known tend to repeat the same mistake over and over because they don't appreciate that failure is perhaps more valuable as a teacher than is success. Point 5, when you're faced with a choice, make the move with the highest potential benefit versus risk. And 6, if and when luck runs against you, hold your emotion in check. Trim spending and prepare and set up for your next advance. Here's number 7 through 9. 7, never give your opponents a second chance. If you gain an advantage, exploit it because the competition will be gunning for you. Point 8, seek help if the game threatens to overwhelm you. There's nothing wrong with forming a partnership or an alliance if you need to bolster your resources. Point 9, bet heavily when the odds are in your favor. For example, if you have a hot selling product, do everything you can to maximize its sales while it's hot. And finally, the last 2 points. 10, if opportunity narrows, focus on your strength. And point 11, be a gracious winner or loser. Don't be petty, share what you learn. I believe this perhaps is the most important of Parker's 11 principles. So, in sum, there is enough uncertainty and heartache in business. That's why it is essential to develop sound business strategies. Be serious, plan well, but enjoy the ride. And my goal has always been work hard, have fun, and I must say it served me very well during my career. So now let's shift gears and have a little fun ourselves. I'm going to share with you the 5 strategy tips that are guaranteed to improve the odds of winning when you're playing the Monopoly game. Point 1, buy every unowned property you land on. And the reason for this is pretty simple. You need trading material to get the properties you really want. Point 2, aim to acquire the orange or the red group if possible. And the reason is they're not too expensive, they provide good return on investment, and they get landed on a lot due to their position in front of jail. And players go to jail throughout the game. Point 3, tip 3, build your property group to 3 houses as soon as you can afford to. The reason? There's a terrific increase in rent between 2 and 3 houses on a property. Collecting $600 or more in a rent will likely prevent your opponent from building up his or her group to grab rent money from you, so there's a double advantage. Point 4, pay to get out of jail immediately if it's early in the game. And the reason for this is you need to be in motion on the board to keep acquiring properties. You can't do that in jail. But later in the game, when all the properties are owned, it's wise to stay in jail as long as possible to avoid paying rent. And the 5th tip, perhaps the most important, conduct yourself like a player the others won't mind losing to. The reason? You will get shut out of trading and you will be targeted by your opponents if you do not treat them with respect and establish your credibility. This one, as I mentioned earlier, is equally crucial in the real business world. By building a favorable reputation and treating your partners and opponents with respect, they will invariably direct opportunities your way. So why risk the opposite? Okay, that's it. I hope you learned something of value while having some fun. Now, please enjoy the rest of Strategy Fest 2022.